I'm David Thaler. Welcome to Stage 4 of Collective Bargaining Mediation, Separate Caucuses. We do recognize that a separate caucus is a luxury that mediators and parties do not always have in every country, due to limitations of space, time, custom, and even trust in the process. Where the mediator does have the ability to meet separately with the parties, separate meetings play a vital role in helping the mediator to, 1, build a relationship with the parties in a more relaxed atmosphere, 2, get information on sensitive subjects which the parties would not likely reveal in front of the other side, 3, gauge the parties' priorities in the negotiation, 4, help parties to develop offers and counteroffers, and 5, ask questions that cause parties to reconsider their positions. This is sometimes referred to as reality testing, and we will see this in a subsequent video in this series. In deciding whether to hold a separate caucus, the mediator should keep in mind that parties may want to use the separate caucus a lot because they feel safer, but be careful of overusing separate caucuses. There's a risk of mistakes in transmitting the message, the calculation, or the reasoning behind the proposal if the mediator is shuttling between parties. In addition, remaining separate from one another can cause some parties to become overconfident or even self-righteous toward the other party. In deciding whether to hold a separate caucus, the mediator should also be mindful to manage the other party's perceptions of what might be happening behind closed doors. For this reason, it's important to spend equal time with each party, and without revealing confidences, state to both parties what is the general purpose of each separate meeting and where it fits into the overall trajectory of the negotiation. It's also important to not allow too much time to pass without visiting the other party. And finally, separate caucuses are also a good time to task the non-caucusing party with important functions such as performing calculations, conducting research, obtaining authority, and reaching decisions. Now let's check in with mediator Martin Callahan as he holds a separate caucus with the Union Negotiating Committee.
Good morning again, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for spending some time with me in private caucus. I really appreciate it. As we mentioned in the joint session, everything that happens here is 100% confidential. I don't share with the other side unless you give me permission to do so. I'd like to use this opportunity to get a little more background information from you, explore some of the interests and the issues that we have before us. So, if that's okay, I'd like to start off with safety.
Okay. Well, the safety equipment's very hot and it's uncomfortable. And the bargaining unit's tired. Not to mention, management's taken a heavy-handed approach on discipline. They're disciplining the employees just for making temporary small adjustments to the equipment. It's ridiculous.
Marty, this is the friggin' helmet they make me wear. They make everybody in the shop wear. It's hot. It's heavy. We need a break. We take it off and they write us up. That's friggin' wrong, and this company better wake up. This union needs to wake up. We need to fight them on this, and if they don't, maybe we need someone else to represent us.
Joe, that's helpful. Can we talk a little bit about wages?
This bargaining unit works very hard. They're demanding 5% and they deserve it.
Oh, come on now, Dana, come on. Let's just think about it. Think about what we're asking for. Think about the industry standard. That's all I'm asking. Just think about it.
They're making plenty of money. They really are.
What have the wages been here historically?
Well, historically, if we want to talk about where we were at 2.5%. And that wasn't all that bad, so just think about it. That's all I'm asking.
What about industry-wide?
Well, I don't disagree with Denise.
Yeah,
2.5% is about
industry standard.
But this bargaining unit is working in very tough conditions right now.
We are.
I don't know if I can get this committee to agree on 2.5%.
We deserve more, Mr. Mediator.
Thank you. And how about productivity?
Quotas are high, bonuses are low.
I know we touched on this in the joint session, but I want to make sure I'm clear on it. The production quotas themselves have not changed in a number of years?
They haven't changed, but you heard them in the last meeting. They pride themselves on meeting their production standards and pride themselves on meeting their safety compliance, blah, blah, blah. This bargaining unit is the ones who's meeting those standards, and they deserve to be appreciated.
Okay.
And those quotas are too high, those bonuses are too low.
Let me ask you a question along those lines. Have you had a problem meeting those quotas in the past?
Well, no.
Okay.
No, but now you know if we ask for more money, they're not going to lower the production standards. So let's think about it.
They'll never lower the production standards, but we deserve more money. We work hard in the bad conditions, we deserve it.
Okay.
We're hanging firm on the 5%.
I appreciate that. Hey, look, folks, I appreciate your openness and your candor. I need to go spend some time with management, but I'd ask you to use the time in between to talk amongst yourselves. Try and identify some issues where you think you're closer to an agreement with management, and maybe come back with some ideas. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go check with them, see where they are in these issues, and I'll be checking back with you after that, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Everybody, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Tell them they better be ready to pay up.
Okay. Look, let's think about what we asking for. They're not going to give it to us. I understand we deserve it, but they're not going to give it to us.
Would you all consider anything less than 5?
Not me.
The early separate caucus is a place where you establish trust and a working relationship with the parties. In separate caucus, you can learn more about their interests, the pressures they're under, and their true priorities. They in turn can learn about you and gain comfort level with your approach to mediation. This relationship building can pay off big later in negotiations, just when you need it most. As an example, I was mediating a collective bargaining agreement between teachers and the school board. The teachers had a provision in the contract that gave them 3 paid personal days per year. However, this contract had some of the most restrictive language on the utilization of those days that I'd ever seen, meaning the parties had to go through many steps if they wanted to use one of those 3 personal days. This was one of the most difficult issues for the parties to resolve and was at the top of the union's priority list. In separate caucus in that negotiation, there came a time when I knew the answer to the question before I asked it. But I asked it as a clarifying question because I didn't want to appear judgmental about the proposal. This is, instead of becoming defensive, I wanted the teachers to really contemplate the ramifications of what they were asking for so that they would understand why the Board of Education was so adamantly opposed to it. Here's the question I asked, and here's how I phrased it. I said, please help me understand your proposal. Where it says that you want to remove the limit of the number of teachers who can be off on a personal day from 7% of the teachers in the school to an unlimited number, also removing the employer's right to deny a request for a personal day. If I understand this correctly, you're saying that the employer can't deny a requested day off, and your proposal removes the limited number of days the teachers can be off on a given day. So if all the teachers went off on the same day, they'll have to close the school on that day. Is that correct? The room was silent. The chief negotiator for the teachers answered somewhat sheepishly, I suppose that's true. I think that hearing it characterized in that manner really brought it home. They realized that what they were asking for may have created an unintended and absurd result. The next time I went back into the union room for caucus with the committee, they notified me that they were withdrawing their proposal, but keeping and wanting the employer to accept their proposal to eliminate the burdensome process for approving the personal leave days. When the employers committee received the union's proposal, they quickly accepted it. And one of the most contentious issues of the negotiations was resolved by simply asking one question in a proper way during a separate caucus. Had I not established a trusting relationship with the union committee in a separate caucus, I would not have had the credibility to question the proposal they really felt very strongly about, thereby removing a major issue on the road to agreement.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
All right. As I did with the union, this is our opportunity to have a private caucus. I want to remind you that everything that happens here is 100% confidential. I don't share with the other side. So as we get started, I thought we might spend some time talking about the outstanding issues.
Just wondering, did the union give you any idea of where they're at?
Well, just as this meeting is confidential, my meeting with them was confidential. But suffice it to say, we had a good discussion on all of the issues that I'm about to discuss with you. So I'm trying to get an idea where you are on all of these outstanding issues.
Right now, we're holding firm. We don't see any movement from them, so we're holding firm where we are on all
everything?
issues. Yeah,
All of them.
all of them. Did they give you any sense? So all of them right now.
I mean, I have an idea, and this is just an idea. What if we looked at increasing the bonus for the production quotas and maintained those quotas themselves? Not moving on the quotas, but looking at increasing the bonus amount.
That could be tough. I look at the spreadsheet and money's tight, with all the increases in material costs. I'm not sure if we can afford those labor costs too.
Yeah, well, you can look at it this way. A disgruntled workforce is going to be pretty costly as well, let alone a strike.
Yeah, well, just don't come to me if we all end up in bankruptcy in the food line.
Okay, let me be the voice here right now. I agree with you. We do not want a disgruntled worker. We have a pretty good workforce, so I'm going to at least agree with you on that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I actually think it's a good idea.
Thanks.
Okay. So I think you're hearing you're ready to move on production quota bonus as long as the production quotas remain the same.
That's the nugget we're giving you, but that's only for your ears.
Oh, okay, okay. That gives me a better understanding. So it's a place you may have to go
If
with
we have to.
information for the media, but you don't want me to share that with them at this point.
Not at this point.
Okay,
Got to see where they are.
thank you for clarifying
All right.
that. I appreciate the movement, appreciate speaking with you all, and I'll be back in touch as soon as I hear more. All right? Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Commissioner.